And if you don't have a block, like if you think about the thickness of a block, grab your sofa pillow, like a throw pillow, and that can be maybe even a little bit nicer than a block. So when I think about the difference between like a gentle yoga and beginner yoga, a beginner yoga is really going to concentrate on the basics. You're going to go over down dog, warrior one, warrior two, and you're going to look at alignment, how to come in safely. You're going to look at where you need to position the feet, etc. And you're going to kind of build your practice from the very basics and up. And where gentle really is different from that is what we're looking to do in gentle is to move the body through a really nice range of motion, a full range of motion. And we're not super duper concerned about alignment, even though of course we want to focus on keeping your body safe, but we're looking at creating a lot of space through the body, diving into some really nice movement through the joints. And this morning in particular, we're going to look at the low back, the hips and the pelvis, and that whole kind of like, I don't know, I just thought about this. In Atlanta, there's this merging of all these different highways, and it's called Spaghetti Junction, because it looks like that. It looks like a bowl of spaghetti. So you can even think about like the hips, the pelvis, the low back, etc., as this junction, right, where a lot of different things are coming in, and that's a place where we can experience a lot of discomfort. So we want to get room and space there, and we want to get length, but we also want to strengthen. So we're going to do a lot of that today. All right. All that said, we're going to begin on our backs. Now, for just a moment, you don't have to go down yet, but I want you to look at my body here. So here's the arching and here's the rounding. And before you come down, just so you can see the screen, I'm actually going to put my arms overhead, but here's me arching, okay? So I don't know if you can see this, but when I'm arching, I'm creating a lot of space here. Okay, now when I'm finding that rounding position, I can't get my hands under my body. Okay, so that's what I'm going to talk a little bit about, and that's where we're headed. So when you're ready, please come all the way down and keep your block handy. And we'll begin in a position called constructive rest. So what you want to think about is the feet wide on your mat. And when I say wide, like big toe mount, pinky toe mount, broaden, base of heel broaden. You can do hands like right at the thigh bone or on the floor. And note that you have a neutral spine here. So just lying, the natural curves of the spine are honored. So we'll just take a moment, and in fact, you might find that you're actually having to work a little bit to kind of hold the legs up. So you might feel into, I brought my hands out because I'm kind of feeling into it. So I'm kind of letting my legs open a little bit and then maybe bring them back to what would feel like a neutral. And you can feel here that gravity can pull them down, and here there's a little muscular effort to keep them in. Find a neutral space where there's not a lot of work to be done. And then just feel into the full length of the femur bone. So feel kind of weighty on the sacrum, the coccyx bone, the tailbone. Good. And take a nice big full breath in and a full breath out. Now I want you to take your hands to the low belly, right at the very bottom there of the abdomen. Take a full breath in, and as you breathe out, exaggerate the breath out, and you might feel the hands slightly moving. Feel the low back pressing a little more into the floor. So inhale. Feel the abdomen expand and feel the low back lift off the floor. Exhale. Feel the abdomen contract, and you might be aware of more of you touching the mat. Good. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Arms by your sides. Now we're going to really exaggerate that. So inhale, I want you to feel the arch. So if you wanted to test it, you could take your hands like underneath and feel, oh, I have lots of space here. And then as you exhale, you can't get the hands, right? The back's on the floor, and I can kind of feel that the where my glutes and hamstrings meet, that's kind of lifting. Good, so inhale, find your arch. I'll just bring my arms overhead so you can see a little bit more. And exhale, there's a rounding and a pressing down. Good, inhale, the arch, you might come right on to the very tail. Good, and exhale. You can feel this even into the feet. So as you inhale, arch, there's probably not a lot of weight on your feet. As you exhale and round, you're going to feel pressing into the feet so the spine's on the mat. Good. Inhale and exhale. Let's continue here. Using your breath and your movement. If you slow down the breath, it means you're going to hold that one position for just a little longer. Good. Last full breath in and full breath out. Good. Come to neutral. So if your left foot walked out a little wider, walk it in just so it's kind of right, the heel's in line with your sit bone. Hug your right knee in. And just feel how hugging it in creates a little bit of the feeling of when we were rounding. We're just kind of helping that along by bringing the thigh closer to the torso. And so a lot of times body parts want to chip in, they want to help. Like, we don't really need the shoulders, we don't need the muscles of the face here, we don't need the neck. You kind of let all that go. We're just hugging the right leg in. Kind of receiving a little bit of a stretch in the lower left quadrant of the back. Release. Right foot is down and your left knee drops in. One might feel like you have more sensation than the other side. Maybe you're feeling it in a different place, right to left. Remind yourself that the shoulders really don't need to be an active participant here. Good, and release. Okay, so I'm walking my feet in a little bit, and then I have like a nice stable foundation with the feet. I want you to press your feet down, lift your hips up, and feel as you lift up, there's like a nice lengthening we create through the front of the thighs. So we're going to pause for a moment there. I want you to imagine reaching the knees away from the hips. Good, and then lower down. Good, and when you lower down, you'll find that there's a lot of release through the back. Inhale, lift up. So we tap into the hamstrings. This is strengthening. We tap into the glutes. We tap into the low back. Okay. And then as you lower down, there's that release. Release all the way, so soften through the glutes. Again, inhale, lift up. And exhale, release down. Good. One last time. Inhale, lift up. Pause for a moment when you're up, and I want you to think about there's like an equal distribution of effort here through both legs. Good, and then lower down. So what we're going to do now is we're, even though we're lifting both, we're lifting the hips up together, I want you to inhale, lift up, and extend really long through the left knee. So you might feel a little bit more lengthening and along the left front thigh, and you'll tap into the left low back. Good, lower everything down. Inhale, lift up, and lengthen through the right knee. So the right knee is forward. This is subtle. You're going to feel a little bit more into the right glute. Good, and lower down. We'll repeat that. Inhale, lift both hips at the same time. So the hips lift, but now once we're up, we lengthen through the left, release, and come down. Inhale, lift up, lengthen through the right, so the right thigh bone elongates. Good, release and lower down. We're going to do that twice more each side. Inhale, lift up, lengthen through the left, release and lower. Inhale, lift up, lengthen through the right, release and lower. Good, one more time. Inhale, lift up, lengthen through the left, so we just stretch the left knee away from the hip, release the effort and lower. Okay, last time. Inhale, lift up the hips, lengthen the right knee away from the right hip, release the effort and lower. Good. And then take your feet just a little wider, and it doesn't have to be a big movement, but just allow some freedom here for the legs to kind of come in and out. All right, walk the feet in. If you have a block or pillow, grab it, lift up your hips, get the block underneath the sacrum, and make sure you feel really supported. Don't bring that block too high into the soft tissue. You want to be on the bony part there. So I want you to keep your left foot on the floor and hug your right leg in. So the emphasis here is not going to be on drawing the right leg towards the torso. I want the emphasis now to be on the left leg. So even if you don't have a block, this works beautifully, so you can be on the floor. I want you to extend the left leg long, flex both feet, just so you've got that action, but lengthen out through the left heel. So the left foot is flexed, and really lengthen through the left heel. Don't worry about drawing the right leg towards you. I want you to really focus and concentrate on the left leg getting nice and long. And then what's going to happen is when we focus and concentrate on that, really a subtle action, the right leg will just kind of over time come a little bit closer. And then you can think about, at this point, reaching the right knee more towards you as the left heel lengthens away. Good. And release the right foot down. Bend your left knee and place your left foot on the floor. For just a moment, I want you to lift up your hips, remove your block, and come on down. And then there's just this little kind of like rock, and I'm not so concerned about you windshield wipering the knees, but just let the hips and pelvis rock. Hey, please close it. It's too out. Thank you. Oh, I'm thanking you. I was thanking my husband for closing the door. We had my husband and daughter surfing. Okay, here we go. So we start back from neutral. So lift up, get the block or pillow back underneath. And so again, there's like a princess in the pea moment. You want that block right where it's on the bony structure. Okay, and if you're not using a block, no worries. Left leg is in, right leg extends nice and long. So you really need to flex through the right foot to start to connect with the power of the heel. So stretching long through the heel. So for me, I feel this really differently than I felt it on the other side. You might experience the same thing. I'm actually feeling more of a kind of more into the hip, the left side here than I did on the right. And nothing is wrong, nothing is bad, right? Unless there's something that's causing you a little bit of pain, right? Then you want to ease off. But just feel how the body is different. And you can actively take that right leg and kind of press the leg bones down as you reach through the foot. See if you can flex both feet. And imagine now at this point, drawing the left knee towards you as the right leg really lengthens. Okay, release. Both feet on the floor, lift your hips, remove your block, and come down. All right, so I want you to put your left foot on the floor and hug your right knee in. It doesn't have to be tight. We're just kind of clasping hands over shin. And it's just a little rocking movement side to side. There's something really lovely about creating space with this movement. Just a few more times, side to side. Okay, right foot on the floor. I had to kind of realign my hips because they got a little wonky there. So right foot on floor, left leg in, rock. You might feel this, again, I feel this so differently. I feel this deep inside the left hip joint, where my right side, I didn't notice anything in the hip. Good. All right, just a few more times. All right, release. So right knee bends, flex your foot. I want you to take that leg out to the side a little bit. And then you're gonna take your hand and somewhere on the calf or maybe foot, we're gonna come into a happy baby. So the left foot stays, And I like a hand kind of like on the left hip. I'm really using quite a bit of effort here to draw my right knee down, my right thigh towards the floor. Good, release. Left knee bends, then we kind of open it up a little bit to the side. So you can take the hand somewhere to the shin and kind of draw that leg down towards the floor, or hand over ball of foot. And then really see if you can kind of guide that knee and thigh down. All right, release. All right, so feet down, lift and realign your hips. And when you do this, lengthen the spine. And then this time, draw your knees in, but let your hands be by your sides, and we're just rocking. So here's the point in rocking. I think we've done this a couple times now. When you rock, I want you to think about your sit bones being feet. So you don't have to do this with your hands, but you're gonna see my hands do this for a moment. So I'm imagining, right, my sit bones are walking. So I'm just getting lots of length as I walk. And you might stop. So as I go left, I lift up and I imagine my right sit bone reaching forward, and then I drop it down. Same thing. So it's like walking. You might even look at your feet here and see one foot going in front of the other. Space, right? If your shoulders come up to the ears, bring them down. All right, so we've got this movement here now, forward. Now stretch your legs straight-ish. And now the movement, the walking, is up. So it's a little rock to each side. You're gonna feel the one foot, then the other, reaching up. So if we wanted to, we probably could cover some space here. It might take a little while. I think we could probably like move the length of the mat here. Keep your knees pretty bent, especially if your hamstrings are tight. That's such a nice way to create space here, sacrum. A couple more times, just stretching up as we rock. All right, and hug in. Okay. You don't have to hug in tight, you can hug in far. So hands like on the shins, we're just gonna draw the legs towards us, and we're just gonna let them go. So you're gonna find that there's that kind of arching and rounding that happens like we had at the beginning of class. So minimal effort here with the low body. The arms are pretty active participants in drawing us in. Okay, just a couple more times. All right, last time. Good, and release. Okay, now stretch your arms long and stretch your legs long. So as I was writing my notes here, this first position we're taking, I'm calling it banana testing the waters, because we're actually going to take banana, but we're going to take it pretty slow. So I want you to just, like, I kind of lift my feet off the floor a little bit to walk my heels. I want you to just take maybe 1 or 2 steps with the heels over to the left, and that's it, just the legs. You can have your arms even by your sides. And I prefer arms overhead though, because I want to just stretch out. I want to elongate. So I'm reaching my upper body away from my low body. Good. Release any effort, bring the feet back to neutral. I want you to plant your feet, so bend your knees, plant your feet, lift your hips, get a little break. So when you lift, feel that there's like all that space. Good, bring them back down. Legs are long. And now just like 1 or 2 steps, just the heels go over towards the left, and stretch your arms long. Good. Release any effort, come back. It's worth this moment, so I want you to re-bend the knees, plant your feet, lift your hips, realign. It's amazing how much we can come out of a neutral place. Good, and now we'll come into like the full banana. So you can take like a couple really big steps over to the right. For me, I always get like the skin and musculature of my right buttock tucked under, so I'll kind of free that up. And then you could do the same, upper body can go right too. So legs right, upper body right. But make sure that your heels, your hips, your shoulders, everything's on the floor, right? So we don't roll to the side. Breathe deeply and fully into the low belly to receive all that opening along the left side hip. All right, release. Come back to neutral last time just to lift and realign your hips. And then, so I find like I'll teach taking baby steps, but in my own practice, I just take a big sweep of my left leg across, big sweep of the right leg, free up the buttock. Upper body takes the same trajectory. You can clasp opposite elbows, whatever feels good. Good, and then release. Knees bend, hips lift. Now, legs are long and arms are long by your side. This is the last thing we'll do here on our back. So what I want you to think about is from here, I'm going to actually put my palms down just so I can ground a little bit and stretch both legs long, and then let your palms face up. Just your right leg. It could be really subtle. We're going to stretch long through the right leg, press out through the right heel, and then bring everything back to neutral. If you have a really sticky mat, sometimes it's hard to slide. You're going to flex your left foot, stretch long through the left leg, reach the left heel, and then everything slide back. Right foot flex, stretch out long through the right foot, really reach that leg long, reach the heel away so the right foot is far forward in front of the left. Bring it back. Good. Left leg, stretch it long. You're going to feel your hips, right? You're going to feel how they move independent of each other. Bring the left leg back. Last time right. Slide that right foot long, flex at the foot, stretch out through the whole leg bone, reach through the heel, bring it back. Same thing, left leg. Good, and bring it back. All right. Knees bent, feet on floor. So I am going to rock and roll forward and back to come to a seat. If you prefer, you can roll to your side and slowly come up to a seat. However you want to do it, you're going to rock up to a seat or come to your side. Okay, so from here, I'm going to have you bend your knees. I have my hands behind you just to kind of feel some lengthening through the spine. And then feet are wide, so my feet are almost touching the edges of my mat. Inhale, arch. And exhale, round. Now as you round, I want you to dive into this and all that opening you create through the spine. Good, inhale, arch. And exhale, round. Now hold this position for as long as you breathe out, and then maybe at the bottom of the breath or bottom of the exhale, you're gonna hold, right? Hold the breath out. When you're ready to inhale, come forward. When you're ready to breathe out, round. Good, last time. Good. And then come to neutral. Take your hands behind you. Feet still stay nice and wide, so I'll show you this way. So imagine my feet on the edges of my mat. I'm just kind of opening the legs and elongating the thigh bones and pressing the knees down, and then just letting my legs come back to it's almost like they spring back to neutral. So my feet are flexed. I'm letting the knees come way out, and then they just kind of spring back. And opening up. I'm on the knife blade side, the edge, the pinky toe edge of the foot. Feet are nice and flexed. And I'm spring back. Good, last time, open up. And let them spring back. Okay, so now from here, take a full breath in. And then as you exhale, let your knees drop to the right. Your left hand's gonna come around, place your left hand on the floor. Here's what's different. Instead of lying ourselves down, we're gonna stay tall. Now, if you want more elongation on that left leg, slide that left knee further behind you. There's a nice amount of twist here for the low back. Good, nice big full breath in. Release. Rearrange yourself. Feet are wide, knees are wide. Drop everything to the left. Take the right hand around. Good. If you want a little bit more on the right leg, you can walk that right foot a little further away. You just stay tall. Good. Last breath. Good. And release. Okay. So from here, extend your right leg wide and bring the left, bend the left knee. The left foot is kind of like somewhere around the seam of the pants. We do this a lot, and it's one of my favorites to really lengthen the hamstring and really get into that like adductor, the inner thigh. So left hand, meaty part of calf, ankle, foot, you choose. Sorry, right hand, meaty part of calf, ankle, foot. Left hand to the heart for a moment. Roll the shoulder open and back and begin to open up into that twist. And then stretch the left arm up, full breath. As you exhale, draw the low belly in, find the rotation of the rib cage, and reach the hand towards the foot. Good. From here, inhale, open up. Exhale, the low belly activates. We use the abdominals, and then we lengthen through from the upper back to the foot. Good. Inhale, open. And exhale, reaching long. Last time, inhale. And exhale. Now we'll hold here for a moment. So I want you to rearrange for a second. I've got my right hand on the floor. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And exhale, just think about extending long through the spine. You can do both hands on the floor, both hands to your foot. But the posture is really never static. There's just this certain amount of aliveness that accompanies the breath. Tapping deep into that band that stretches across the low back. Good, one more full breath. And then I want you to find a place where there's breath, but you're not necessarily consciously like aware. The body is simply in a place of being. Good. And then begin to look forward and come on up. Roll the shoulders open and back. Put your hands behind you. And then you could take that right hand, bend the knee. And now the right knee bends and the left leg is straight. So same thing. So left hand, meaty part of calf, ankle, big toe, right hand to the heart. So we just kind of begin to get that rotation and then stretch the right arm up. Exhale, reach towards the foot. Inhale, open up. And exhale, reach. Good, inhale. And exhale. Twice more, inhale. And exhale. Last time, inhale, elongate. And this time as you exhale, we'll stay. You can rearrange the hands, lengthen the spine, and then begin to fold. Let the breath be full and deep. And let it find subtle movement through the body. Okay, and then you'll reach a point where you just simply allow the body to rest. Good, inhale. Come on up, put the hands behind you. And from here, just stretch both legs long, flex your feet. And I want you to wiggle your hips. So we were doing this on the like lying down. We're doing it a little differently now. So just wiggle your hips. I actually have my hands here to kind of move the flesh away from the sit bone. And then just flex your feet and kind of crawl the heels forward. Stretch your arms up, full breath. Exhale, hinge. Doesn't matter where your hands go. Take a full breath to elongate the spine and then fold. Good. Inhale. Look forward, allow some lift to happen. And exhale, fold. Good. Again, inhale. And exhale. Last time, full breath in. And full breath out. Good. Press the legs down, inhale. Take the hands behind you. Point the fingers towards you and just get a little bit of lift through the chest. Flex your feet. Feel the chest broadening. Feel like collarbones broaden. You can take your hands and kind of wing them out a little to the side if you need to. And release. All right. When you're ready, come onto all fours. So from all fours, just the very kind of neutral and highly effective arching and rounding, the cat-cow. So inhale, arch, and exhale, round. Feel free to pause in any part of this, inhaling and exhaling. So I'll let your breath really be your guide. Okay, so from here, I want you to just feel this freedom to begin to move. So I kind of like the circling of the rib cage. The head and neck, the shoulders, the wrist. Everything comes along for the ride. You can move really slowly. You can move at a slightly quicker pace. Right, there's just absolute freedom here. Okay, so come back to neutral. And what I want to explore a little bit is like a little bit of a shift. So from a neutral all fours, I want you to kind of shift over to the left. Good, come back to center, and then shift over to the right. So showing you from here, right, shifting side to side. So just feeling into what's appropriate. Let the hips and the weight shift from one side to the other. Okay. Good. Coming back through your left side, coming to neutral. And then from here, take your hands and flip one, and then flip the other. So you want to flip so that you'll move out to the side and then fingers back. So eyes, the elbows are forward. Tuck your toes and just shift your weight back a little bit. Show me from here, just shifting the weight back. And coming forward. Good, and shifting it back. You can let the head and neck relax and shifting forward. Last time, shifting back. Good, and coming forward. Reflip the hands. And then, so we're rolling the shoulders now. The breath. And go. Let the shoulders kind of soothe any tension in the neck. So the neck has a pretty big job holding up the head. We want to give it a little rest here. Good. Last time circling whatever direction you chose to begin. Push away and then circle the opposite way. Your elbows will be slightly soft, but for the most part, your arms are really straight here as you're circling. Good. Last time. And then come to neutral. All right. So from here, we're going to come to lie on our belly. Thank you. Okay, so coming to lie on our belly. So I want you to really anchor this pose through the legs. So tops of feet on floor, strong, active legs, hands are by your sides, but it's the action of the legs can begin to lift your chest and then lower down. You don't have to lift much, but there's a lot of engagement. So inhale, strong legs. So the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes, everything's involved. Good, and lower down. Inhale, strong legs, lift. And lower down. So this is a really important part of the body to strengthen here. We need the low back to be strong to support a strong core. Good. Again, strong legs lift. Breathing on the inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower. Last time, strong legs, inhale. And exhale, lower. Now, you're gonna stack hand upon hand. Rock your hips just a little bit. Make a pillow for your forehead. Now rock your hips to elongate the legs. And we've done this a couple times now. This is just a different relationship to the mat. I want you to inhale, lift your right leg and stretch it as long as you can stretch it. And lower down. Good, inhale, lift your left leg, stretch it long. And lower down. Inhale, lift the right. And lower. Inhale, left. And lower. Good. Again, inhale, right. And lower. Inhale, left. And lower. Last time, each side. Inhale, right. And lower. Inhale, left. And lower. Good. And then rock your hips a little bit side to side. And just to give the low back a little bit of TLC, bend your knees. And then a windshield wiper, we're not going to move. We're just going to drop them left and get into that nice deep internal rotation for the right leg. Come back through center, drop them other side. Come back through center. So stretch your legs long, wiggle. And I like this for the lengthening it provides for the low back. Take a full breath in. And then as you exhale, I want you to press your pubic bone down towards the floor. Inhale, release. Exhale, press the pubic bone down. Inhale, release. Last time, press the pubic bone down. And release. Okay, slide your hands back, roll your shoulders open and back. Find all fours. And then tuck your toes, lift your knees, start to walk your feet in towards you, and then bend the knees a lot. So coming into Ragdoll. So for a moment, before we really drop the head, just kind of take a breath or two to acclimate to this position, and then clasp opposite elbows, let the spine elongate, keep your knees nice and bent. So we still, even in this position, get lots of elongation through the low back. So we kind of let the low back traction out of the hips and pelvis. Good, last breath. And then bend deeply, get your hands to the tops of the thighs. Here comes that rounding and arching. So round your spine. It's almost like you'll almost round up towards a standing position. Bend your knees and arch, look forward. Good, exhale, round. Bend the knees, arch, look forward. Good, round. And arch. Last time, round. And arch. This time we'll round up to stand. So round all the way up to stand. Roll your shoulders open and back. Okay, so from here, sometimes after being on the floor for such a long time, it just takes a moment to kind of get into the body here. So you roll your shoulders open and back a couple times. If it feels good, or just take your hands, let them rest on the low belly. Good, and then take your feet and walk them just about hips width apart. So from here, I just want you to feel like the solidity of the feet. And then I want to get a deeper stretch into the IT band. So I'm going to have you look at the right foot, get a nice amount of stability there, and then cross the left leg over the right. Inhale, your arms are up. Then exhale, side bend to the left. So we're really elongating here, kind of pressing the hips out to the right as we reach the arms to the left. Good, inhale back up. And release. Shift the weight to that standing foot. Okay, left foot now has that solid foundation, right leg crosses over. Arms are up. And side bend the opposite direction. So arms stretch to the right, hips reach out to the left. Good, last breath. And come on back. Okay, release and undo the feet. All right, roll your shoulders open and back. And from here, so knees are pretty soft. We're not like really deep in a chair, but we're somewhat on like a higher chair. Good. Hands pressed behind, palms face up, and then interlace your hands. Roll your shoulders open and back, and just let the arms slip away from the body. Now, if you feel too much kind of like overarching in the low back, draw the low belly in here. Let your head and neck relax. And what I want you to think about is, as you lift the arms, just getting that opening through the bicep, through the chest, like from the breastbone out, and then release. Okay, so we're just gonna roll the shoulders. So we'll start with that right shoulder. So just rolling the right shoulder open and back. And see if you can get it through like a nice full range of motion. Don't worry what the hand's doing, it's just gonna go along for the ride. Good, last time. And then we'll start to roll the left shoulder open and back. Good, keep the knees nice and soft. And now both at the same time, rolling open and back. Good, last time. All right, from here, step the legs a little bit wider. So when your legs are wide, you want to have a nice base of support. Bend your knees, and the toes are like slightly out, the heels are slightly in. So we're going to take the shoulder, and we're going to dip that left shoulder in. So my hands have a nice support system. They're actively pressing into the thighs. And if you want a little bit more stretch, drop your hips even lower. Let your head and neck be neutral. You might even kind of shift the weight a little bit. Come back to neutral, and we'll drop the opposite shoulder. Good, come back to neutral, press into the feet, come up to stand, just enough. So now we're gonna take like a little bit of a shift. So we're, I have long legs, so I'm broadening my stance a little bit. We're gonna drop a little bit into the left knee, and then drop right. Now, if you receive a really nice amount of stretch with the hips pretty high, you're gonna stay. But if it feels good to really drop the hips down, you're gonna drop a little bit lower. And if you're dropping lower, you can keep hands on legs, or, it's always appropriate to bring the hands to the floor. I want you to feel into it, so I'm not gonna cue you side to side. What I want you to feel into is kind of like the depth that you're looking for, and then pause once you reach it. Good. Let's spend a moment or two, like a breath or two there, and then switch. So again, you can keep the hips as high up as you'd like. Good. One more time, side to side. Good. And then eventually, we're going to take the hands to the hips, feet stay nice and wide, hands to the hips, and come all the way back up to stand. Good, shoulders open and back, and then you can heel toe the feet nice and slowly towards each other until you can kind of step together. So from here, so it's really nice that like when we can open the legs, it kind of opens everything up, right? It opens up the whole like lower part of the body. And so then let's continue that through the arms. So we're gonna take the right arm and bring it forward and then take it back in like a really generous circle. So that that arm just reaches up and around. So I like to take my like my left hand and bring it to the rib cage as I circle here. You can take your time and note that sometimes like the knees will bend and then they'll stretch straight. So at this point in class, you can really call upon your most full inhale. And again, you can really bend into the knees and stretch straight. Last time. Good, come to neutral, and then we'll just switch. So opposite arm comes around. And I challenge you when you stretch your legs straight to really hug the muscle to the bone. So there's this really tight, I don't even like to use the word tight in yoga, but there is a natural kind of holding like you would squeeze someone tight that you love. And really breathe into this. So there's a certain amount of effort involved here, so just kind of go with that. Good, last time. And come back to neutral. Good. And now I want you to take the hands, so like the fingers come to the front of the body, the thumbs come behind, and we're just gonna circle the elbows. And I find myself wanting to kind of move my feet around a little bit, bend my knees, stretch the legs straight, so we're not static with the low body. And really swim those elbows in as large of a circumference as you can. Feel deeply into the opening of the shoulder, not just the shoulder girdle really, but the shoulder blades on the back body. Good, pause from neutral here and then move the other way. Keep the head and neck soft. Good, last time circling. And then come to neutral. Okay, from here, we're gonna take the hands, so we're gonna make fists, and it's like we're kind of like connecting the knuckles, so make fists, connect the knuckles behind you. So if you need to start low, start low. If you can move up a little bit, move up. And then from here, broaden the collarbones, and if you can take the arms and move the hands away from the body, move the hands away from the body. Good, and release back. All right, shoulders open and back. Good, take the hands together. And from here, inhale, arms stretch out, around, and up. Exhale, soften the knees and fold. Good, inhale, a half lift. You can do hands up shins. Exhale, fold. Good, inhale, come all the way to stand. And exhale, I want you to take your hands behind you, interlace them, lift them up away from the body. Good, last breath. And then bend your knees fairly deeply. Now you can stay right here, or you can bend even deeper. Keep your spine long for a moment and begin to fold. So we take that forward fold, keep your knees as bent as you like. Or you can work your legs towards straight. Good, release, hands to floor. Inhale, long spine. Exhale our very first downward facing dog. So come on in. Let everything soften. And we'll just use this for the inversion that it is. Good. And then look forward, step your feet forward. However you need to come down to a seat, come down. We'll pause for just a moment, full breath in, full breath out. Good, and come onto your back. All right, knees bent. Please take your right leg and cross it over your left. You're gonna take your time getting here. And arms can be, they don't have to be wide in a T, but they're out to your side. We're just allowing a nice, slow rocking. You're gonna find that once you drop to one side, it might feel kind of nice. You're gonna pause. Same thing on the other side. So I have my right leg crossed over my left. And I find that when I drop the legs to the right, this is where I feel the stretch that I'm happiest at this moment to receive. So I'm gonna hold there. So you might find that as well, or maybe you're gonna find that you like dropping left. Wherever you feel the best, you're gonna stay. And then come back to center, undo, and then left leg now is on top. So there can be that really nice moment where there's just a subtle amount of movement, moving a little slower. And so these windshield wipers are on intermittent, right? Where you're not even sure if they're going to go again because they take so long. Right, so you want to move nice and slowly here. And then at some point, you're going to drop to a side that feels good. It doesn't matter if it's right or left. You're going to dig into whatever it is that your body's meant to receive now. And when you're ready, come back to neutral. And then we'll let the feet come together and let the knees come wide. Now, if this doesn't feel good, then just bring yourself into Shavasana. But if this feels okay, stay. There's lots of different places to put the hands and arms. You're going to choose what feels right to you. You're here with me, take one final inhale, and then use that to prepare the body to come into Shavasana. So we enter this as well with a sense of curiosity, and there's a certain amount of kind of movement so you can get the body just where you need it to be to rest. Once you find that, come into the place of rest. Hopefully soon there will be an inhale that feels just right to begin a little bit of movement. Once that arrives for you in your body, feel free to stretch the arms long overhead and just grow. And after any efforting to get taller, release the arms underneath. Lift your hips one last time. And then let the hands just rest on the low belly. When you're ready, you'll find a side to roll to. And take a few moments, whatever you need, to come back to a seat. When you're seated and the spine is tall, close your eyes. Bring the hands together. And take a nice big full breath in, pause and hold the breath at the top. Open the mouth and let it go. And Hare Om, Om Tat Sat, Om Shanti, Om Peace. Namaste, yogis. Thank you all. And I forgot to mention at the beginning that all of my classes on YouTube now are public and viewable for everyone.